good. Um, could you speak to briefly? You do not have to expound on this, but I do think there's a bit of a danger at this point in culture where, especially teenagers, are diagnosing themselves. Could you at least give us a word of wisdom in that regard?
Yeah. So part of it is what we are expecting to see in adolescence, right?
Mhm,
Just that there's a term that comes from social psychology called social contagion. I worked in a high school for the better part of my career early on, and kids want to be a part of what other kids are experiencing, what they're doing, even if it isn't great.
mhm,
So sadly, we would see this social contagion when a child would attempt suicide. We, as
mm,
the therapists and the counselors in the building, we would be on high alert because of this knowledge that we had that
mhm,
kids may be susceptible, they may be vulnerable to attempting. So we would, go into the classrooms, have conversations, invite people to come in and have a safe place to talk. So from that perspective, kids want to belong. They want to
mm,
feel connected. They want to be where their friends are, and they also want to have language for what they are going through. So
mhm.
that's the positive. Now, here's the other part of it. Has the pendulum swung a little bit in terms of just an over reliance on labels? Yes, as it pertains
Yeah.
to mental health. As a therapist, I was jumping up for joy because I said, okay, COVID has a lot of bad aspects for sure. One of the things that isn't bad is the conversation around mental health, especially youth mental health, and I was here for it. And then we started seeing the emergence of TikTok influencers and social media
Mhm.
videos about if you have these symptoms, then you're this. If you're
Yeah.
experiencing that, you might have attachment issues. If you
Mhm.
and so kids were gravitating towards those videos as we would expect. So we as therapists, we talked about this quite a bit. We were seeing kids that were like, okay, I watched this TikTok video and this is what's wrong with me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go, and so anyways, I would go into sometimes when I'm talking to clinicians, because I'm a teacher of clinicians, I'll share with them how to process this with another young person. So, at a high level, this is what I'll say to parents and caregivers. Yes, it does feel like the pendulum has swung the other way as it relates to mental health, but that doesn't mean that we ignore when a child is struggling. We actually
Mm,
lean in. We're more
mhm,
curious because they're trying to tell us something. So I set aside the label. They say, Dr. Chinwe, I think I have anxiety. Okay, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Well, I read this thing, I did this online assessment, and it says, and I'll look at it. So I don't
mhm,
dismiss it. I don't negate their
mhm,
concerns. I listen to them and then I provide them with a different perspective. Um, in this world, there will be trouble.
mm,
So many people are experiencing high stress and anxiety. So without the label, and we can talk about if there's a diagnosis that needs to be had, can we just,
mm.
address what needs to be addressed? What are your needs? And how can the people that love you meet them?
Mhm.